Welcome once again to the channel. Today we take a look at the next deck that's out, which is an Arcane Killer deck. The event is a Dark Commander event, and we're going to jump straight in. We're going to have a look at the cards. We're going to start first and foremost with the Ultimate Form. The Ultimate Form is, I believe it's a nice Ultimate Form, and going forward I can see good utility application for this Ultimate Form. Now we're going to start by taking a look at the battle skill. So the battle skill creates 8 Dark Power Gem 6s. Then it upgrades all Dark Power Gems to 1 rank higher, which is really good. When you've got a card that is able to upgrade your Power Gems, it's a really good card. It's a card that you need within your utility collection. Because going forward, this will have very good applications in not only commander events but in slay events as well. It's also good in GVG events as well, because you need to upgrade your power gems, because you need to generate really serious damage, especially in GVG, because you've got people with some really serious GVG defensive team. The next part of this battle skill increases Dark Commander damage by 80%, so that's really good as well. It's not a brilliant damage increase, but 80% it's nice, because it's not a damage increase that is only for this card, so it's not a self increase, but it's actually increased for all Dark Commanders, which is really good. It's got a 3 turn cooldown and a 9 gem charge rate. The passive is not too bad as well. So roaring boarding. So roaring boarding, on attack it creates up to 6 Dark Power Gem 6s, 1 for each attacking Dark Commander. The reason why it says up to 6, it's because if you apply this card in a Slayer setting, so it's the only card on the deck that is actually a commander card, it will only generate 2 Power Gem 6s with its passive. But if it's on a commander deck and all the cards on the commander deck are Dark Commander cards, it will create a maximum of 6. So in a Slayer setting, you can get up to 10 Power Gem 6s from this card alone. In a commander setting where you've got all Dark Commanders on the deck, it will create a maximum of 14 Power Gem 6s. That's really good, because this card, every time you activate your battle skill alongside your passive, you will get 14 Power Gem 6s. Plus the boost. Plus, it's got a second passive that increases your maximum HP by 25%. So it increases the maximum HP of Dark Commanders by 25%. So the base HP, so you got a health on this card which is 13,000. The 13,000, you will get 25% of that on top. So each card will get 25% of its base HP stat on top, and that's really good. This card will dispel thorns. Thorn can be a nasty buff, and when I say buff, it's not a buff for you, it's a buff for the boss, so it works against you. So each time you attack, you take damage. So all your cards, whenever they attack, the entire deck takes damage. It's a bit different from Traitor. I explained Traitor last week. If you saw the video, you'll see the difference between Thorn and Traitor. However, Thorn will not kill you. It will eradicate all the HP, and then when you get hit by the boss, you die. So that is Thorns for you. It's always good to dispel Thorns. I really find Thorns annoying, and it's one of the buffs on the bosses that I really hate. Now we're gonna move on, and we're gonna take a look at the next card, which is a Master Collection card. Now your Master Collection card for this week is this one, Captain Salt Main. So this one will increase your Dark Commander damage for 80%, and this lasts for 3 turns. On attack, it will create up to, remember that, up to 6 Dark Power Gems 6s, 1 for each attacking Dark Commander. Again, if this is the only card that you've got on the deck, which is Dark Commander card, you will only create 2. So this card will create a minimum of 2 Dark Power Gems and a maximum of 6. every single turn when you attack. This card will dispel dodge. Now, dodge can be counterproductive where you waste most of your attack because the boss will dodge basically attack. It's a bit different from armor. You can hit the boss, but there's a high chance that you might miss the boss, almost like blind, a bit different from blind. Now this is Navigator Ramsey, and this one will create 8 Dark Power Gem 6s, then upgrade all Dark Power Gem to 1 rank higher. It's got the passive where it increases your maximum HP by 25%, and this one will dispel Toxin. Now Toxin is one that is a debuff. So we just saw 2 buffs. So dodge is a buff for the boss and Thorn is a buff for the boss, but Toxin is a debuff. So out of these 3 cards, obviously the ultimate form is the best. However, if you've got, say, the ultra rare can help you out a bit because it does upgrade that power gem to 1 rank higher. You've got other cards in the deck that will upgrade power gems as well. I haven't got that particular ultimate form, but I have got the support card from the deck. So the support card from this week's deck is not a brilliant one. Comparing to the one that we had last week, this is really lacking. It creates 7 dark power gems and heal for 5000% of your recovery. This is the only card on the deck that Toxin will affect. Unless you add a separate card from another deck that's got heal on it, Toxin will not affect any other card on the deck apart from the support card. So the support card for me is lacking in more ways than one. Now we're going to take a look at the main card, or the event card, which is Albus the Lookout, and this one will increase self damage for 60% for 3 turns, and the passive is where you create your power gems. So it creates on attack 3 dark power gem 4s. Now the power gems is not a lot. The self damage is not particularly useful. I mean, if the damage was for all dark commander cards, 60% damage increase for all dark commander cards, it would have been far more useful. Yes, it's got application, but I'm not really loving this main card. It counters dodge, but there's a lot of cards that counters dodge. So the support card and the main card are not really significantly good this week. There are 3 additional cards, none of which will help you out a lot this week. And in the way of cards that are useful, I would say the Defraggers Deck is one that can be used for this week, because the Defraggers will create 8 dark power gem 6s and it will dispel 1 enemy buff. So we got 2 buffs. The boss are actually running 2 buffs this week. So this will dispel 1 enemy's buff, and it will cleanse it 1 debuff from each dark commander hero for and heal for 500% of recovery. Now this will be affected by Toxin. So if you're hit by Toxin, you won't be able to use the battle skill of this particular card. However, you won't be able to use this one either, because this one actually heals. So it heals for 500% of your recovery. And if you're hit by Toxin, you won't be able to use this one as well. However, Longshot creates 8 dark power gem 6s and it dispels 1 enemy buff and increase self damage. This one, its battle skill won't be affected by Toxin, and it does dispel debuff. So you can dispel 2 debuff from the enemy, because ultimate bosses can run a maximum of 3 debuffs or 3 buffs, or this week 2 buffs and 1 debuff. It can have all 3 at the same time. Now if you're going to use a combination like this one, you will need a card to dispel Toxin, because high performance unit area is affected by Toxin, and as I said, the Defraggers is affected by Toxin, and new and improved hero is affected by Toxin. This is one of the cards that will give you your Arcane Killer skill, and this one creates up to 18 dark power gems over 3 turns. It creates 6 immediately, then 6 on the second turn, and if you're above 200 Arcane Killer intensity, then it gives you the third set of power gems. The thing is, this one came out last year, and then we were using a lot of intensity. If you're gonna use it in combination with the Defraggers, I would say you could probably replace Longshot or new and improve hero and put a card in there that will dispel toxin, else toxin will make your deck, this particular deck, absolutely useless. Now let's take a look and see if we can find any other cards within my collection that is useful. The golems can be used. You won't generate a lot of power, as we know that recently the golems is not as powerful as it used to be. There are other commander cards. You've got your Chaotic Killer. The Chaotic Killer, you can use it in combination with let's see if we can find the support card for that particular deck, and that deck is this one. So the ultimate form from this deck is really good, really good. That's the one that was used with the Defraggers to actually make the deck really powerful. I've got the Master Collection card from this one. This one is a Noble Killer. I haven't got the ultimate form, but that's something you could try and use. You've got well, the Beast Killer. I'm not really sure about the Beast Killer deck. Some of the old decks are not really that useful, but this combination that I'm showing at the moment is one that you could use. We could take a look on the Slayer cards, and let's see Slayer. Let's look for Immortal Killer. So Immortal Killer, when it comes to Slayer, you could use Freedom Fighters. However, you might be lacking in power there as well. You could try Arcane Killer as well. But when it comes to Slayer Arcane Killer, I'm pretty much weak in that area. I haven't got a lot of Arcane Killer decks when it comes to Slayer. I've only got one, which is really old. This is one of the first ultimate forms that we got, and as you can see, I haven't got the ultimate form for this deck or any other deck, as you can see. So I'm really lacking in the Arcane Killer department when it comes to cards. So that's the reason why I'm thinking to go the Immortal Killer route, to boost this deck using high performance unit area and get my killer skill from Here's Extraordinaire. Here's Extraordinaire is the deck that we got last Easter, and it creates up to 18 power gems, as I said. So if you've got the complete deck, it's one that you can use for the quest map. I find the quest maps quite nice. Ultimate bosses can become a challenge, but the quest map, I normally play a lot of the quest map, and solo bosses, I do play a lot of the solo bosses, and guild bosses, well, that's a team effort, so we normally frenzy those ones, so that shouldn't be much of a problem, because there will be at least 2 or 3 people within the guild that's actually got the deck. Okay, so is it a brilliant deck? I would say the ultimate form has got utility potential, and it's a nice ultimate form, especially because it's got the ability to upgrade power gems. If you haven't got an Arcane Killer ultimate form, which is Commander, I think this is one you could go for. I'm not able to craft it because I haven't got enough coins, and I didn't get anything from the vault, but I'll be saving my gems going forward because I'm really looking for something that's got a bit of oomph, that's got a bit of a bang to it. So I'm gonna save all my gems, and probably at the end of the season I'm gonna decide if I'm gonna craft the fire deck, or if I'm gonna craft another deck, because I like this ultimate form. I think it's okay. I think it's got application going forward, and I do like the water deck as well. I think the water deck was quite nice. Let's see what the next 3 event brings us, what type of deck it's gonna bring forward, and if those decks are any better than what we have seen so far. So that's all I've got for you today. Tomorrow I'll do a video. It's not so much of deck combination, it's just to see how the deck actually performs within the event, and if there is something better that I can come up with, or something that somebody tell me about, that I've got the cards that I can actually create that deck and showcase it on the channel. So